Sales are kind of like that sad piece of bread that everyone in the AI and automation space seems to ignore. But sales is where sales are made. And in talking with hundreds of freelancers and entrepreneurs, the same problem I keep hearing is I know how to build, but I don't know how to sell. So today, I want to share with you a raw video of me giving live feedback on a sales call. I had no idea OBS was running in the background, so I figured it would be beneficial for you guys to hear it too. This is a full masterclass, the same way I train sales reps inside my 165K a month sales agency. So let's get into it. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
How's it going? Pretty good.
Hey, Max, you want to act today?
Yeah, I think it might be fun.
Awesome. You want to
Might be
be
helpful.
a prospect or a closer?
Uh, I've got a closing script
Okay,
that I'd like to
perfect.
try out.
So hopefully you guys all brought your notepads because it's going to be a pretty hefty session. Hey, Malek. Hey, David, Mika, Akash. Good to see you guys. So today we're going to pick the fintech industry. I think we've never done it. We've done recruitment right now. We've done cybersecurity, AI startups, a bunch of industries. We also did recruitment, so IT recruitment. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was last week. So today we're gonna tackle fintech. It's a pretty spicy niche. I've had multiple clients in the fintech space, so it would be awesome for you guys to also learn how to speak to these decision makers within that space. Sounds good? Hey guys, I have my first sales call in 3 hours. Do you think this offer would work? Also, should I say that 30-day period? Yes, always. You want to say our guarantee starts after the warm-up process, usually after 14 to 21 days. Okay, it starts after the 14 to 21 days, and make sure to include that in your proposal, always. It's actually in the classroom templates. In the PandaDoc proposal, you will see that I include that. So for people that are new here, the way these calls usually go is we pick a member as a closer and the other person is going to act as a prospect. And then you guys can just go to town and then I'm going to constantly give feedback as you guys go. Sounds good?
Is there any background info on the fintech
Yes,
company
I'll
that
tell
we're...
you exactly. So essentially, you are pitching the decision maker within a fintech company. It doesn't have to be a startup. Actually, let's not do startup. It has to be just a generic fintech company within the fintech industry. You're on a sales call with a decision maker. Okay, obviously you don't know their ideal client, so you're just basically in discovery call. You want to close them. Okay.
Okay, cool. Hey Harry, how's it going? What made you want to hop on the call today?
Hey, yeah, thank you. So I saw your email and I found it interesting. So here I am.
Nice, nice, pretty cool. Are you in San Francisco?
It looks like it, doesn't it? But no,
Yeah. No, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from India. What about you?
Oh, cool. I'm in Michigan. Nice day today.
Is it like cold there? Like you were wearing a jacket?
Yeah, it just turned 60 degrees, so now wearing sweatshirts.
Okay.
So
I didn't get the Fahrenheit reference, but okay. Seems still.
yeah, it's pretty warm, but it's cold relative to actual summer.
Okay.
Anyways, I want to really jump right into this. So the reason why we're on this call today is because I wanted to learn about you guys' current growth process and how you guys help connect companies like your guys' fintech with decision makers already searching for your guys' solutions
Okay.
and see if
Okay.
it's a real
That was
fit.
good. I gotta give feedback right now. Okay. So I like the small talk. That was good. That was 10 out of 10 small talk. Amazing. I like how you broke the ice. One more thing I would do. Instead of like asking this generic question, I would go straight into the pain. Okay. For example, you want to do your small talk. You want to say, hey, okay, I appreciate you taking the time today. Before we dive into, okay, for example, let's say you've never worked with a fintech company before. Okay, let's say you never did that. You can say, okay, appreciate you taking the time today. I've been studying the fintech space intensely and noticed most companies struggle with the same acquisition bottlenecks. I'm curious, what's been your biggest challenge with customer acquisition so far? See, it's more detailed, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been studying. That's a good way to bypass. Have you ever worked with the fintech? because they're going to be like, okay, well, pull up the case studies. Well, you don't have the case studies. Ding ding.
Right.
So you want to say, I've been studying the fintech space intensely and noticed most companies struggle with the same acquisition bottleneck. So what does that mean, right? So it shows that you've done homework without claiming experience. Okay, that's one. And this is another thing that you guys can use. It's like a power technique. It's called I don't remember this, like the book that I like where I read this. It's called assumed commonality. All right. So it's kind of like you're unconsciously suggesting that their problems are likely similar to others in their space, which usually
I'm gonna
is,
call.
right?
Like,
Make sure you guys are muted yourselves.
connection.
Let me see.
So noticed a bottleneck in pipeline, or
No, you want to
what
say,
was?
yeah, you want to say, I noticed that most companies struggle with the same acquisition bottlenecks. I'm curious, what's been your biggest challenge with customer acquisition so far? Okay? Do you guys want to know what is assumed commonality? It's a really good technique you can use. Let me know in the
Yeah.
chat or like. It's a good mental model to go for, especially in sales calls. And it also helps with like writing a good copy. So it's kind of like selling ice cream, you know? Okay, let me think of an analogy. If you sell ice cream, you probably worry about, let's say, like you probably worry about equipment breakdown. For example, if you run a gym, right? You likely stress about, for example, January signups and March dropouts. If you're fintech, you're almost certainly dealing with the problem of client acquisition, right? So when you say, I noticed that most fintech companies struggle with the same acquisition bottleneck, you're assuming commonality. I'm telling them your problems aren't unique without directly saying it. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like a hack to use that makes the prospect feel understood without needing specific experience with them. Okay? All right, guys. So you guys can continue.
Okay, cool. So appreciate you hopping on the call today. Before we dive in, I've been studying the fintech space and noticed a lot of fintech companies struggle with acquisition bottlenecks. And curious if you guys were in a similar position.
Yeah, you're right. Like fintech, like the financial space in itself is like a whole bubble, and it's always a struggle because these are mostly relationship-driven uh, industries, and it's hard to get in.
Yeah. So how are you guys getting in those relationships right now?
So we have our agents. We have like 5 to 6 sales agents that have these warm connections with these private equity firms, and they just tell us that, hey, let's hop on a 30-60 minute call and figure out the solutions that we have would make sense to them. And yeah, I'm just looking for more agents now.
Okay, gotcha. So how much money does it take to get a single agent on your team?
So we pay them 1099. It's pretty straightforward, and they usually give 4 to 5 introductions a month. But these are like pretty warm introductions.
Okay. That's decent. It sounds like you guys are spending a lot of money up front for a whole bunch of people to manually source contacts. And I hear that, from my research, a lot of other fintechs are doing the same thing. And I feel like there's a lot of money being left on the table here by doing these, super competitive strategies. Is that
Yeah,
are you guys happy with this process, or are you guys looking for a more consistent
so
method?
it's working for now, but obviously now we are in a growing stage. So we are just hiring in more agents. We have, interestingly, a call with my agent right after this call that will probably hire.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So before I move on, I kind of want to ask, like, what are the types of decision makers that these SDRs or your guys' agents are reaching out to?
So it's hard to get with the managing partners of private equities because of how big these firms are and how busy they are. but usually the head of sales and a head of partnerships um, are the ones that we talk with.
Okay, cool. And then what do they kind of do to get into the door? Are they doing like, are they just trying to find the contact and then reach out? Are they doing like deep research on the company to try to figure out how they can provide unique value or uh, like kind of what's
Yeah,
going
okay.
on?
So most of the target audience is American. So for example, the third agent that I have lives in Ohio, and he has contacts with the private equity that he has built over his years, and he just simply connects us with those private equities. And to further increase those networks, they just go B2B, sorry, door to door, wherein they just reach out to these private equity firms that, hey, are you open on discussing automation solutions?
Gotcha. So you guys are targeting private equity.
Yeah, that's the main focus.
Okay, and then like so your guys is fintech, how do you guys help private equity? Like what's your main value proposition that gets their attention?
Yeah, so we are an AI automation company, right? So with the private equities, we see that there are a lot of workflow and they get a lot of deals that needs to be systemized. So we provide automated solutions for them that decreases their workload and employees.
Gotcha. Okay, so then the main value prop sounds like you're reducing a lot of the workload, uh, and you guys are speeding up the sales cycle.
Not the sales cycle like directly, but yeah, indirectly you could say.
Okay, cool. So then how much is that worth for a private equity firm usually in your guys' tip like previous deals?
Like work as in how?
Like how much are they getting in value versus how much are you guys actually charging them?
Okay, that's a good question. So they usually save in 12 hours weekly, and that's about two interns that they hire. And we charge them like the customer lifetime value is can be anywhere around 50K to 100K.
So it's only 50 to 100K for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So then how many deals are you guys getting on the plate right now? You said you had like 5 or 6 agents, and then they're booking like 3 to 5 meetings or something, or
Yeah. So we have 6 clients at the moment.
okay. So how many meetings does it usually take to get a single client?
Well, it depends on these meetings because sometimes the private equity think that they need us, but when we talk, it turns out that they don't even have that workload that we can automate for them. So
Yeah.
those are the calls that are not the one that fruit us a sale.
Yeah. So would you say you even have enough meetings that you can identify your guys' conversion rate?
Uh, as I said, it depends on agent to agent because, like, our top agent, he has brought us 3 meetings and we got one client. But for some, it can take up to 10 meetings to close one.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like what you have going has worked in the past, but from the data you're able to provide me, it sounds like you guys are really lacking on the pipeline, which is preventing you guys from having real insights on how to even scale this up. So just from the way that you're talking about this, having a consistent pipeline of leads would not only like 10x your guys' business, but also provide you and your other higher up owners and decision makers with a lot of valuable insights to be able to optimize and focus on other issues.
Yeah, yeah. Like as I said, we are trying to grow, so we are finding different ways of what it's gonna take for us to reach the next level.
Okay, cool. So before we go further, I kind of want to hear just like where's the vision of where you guys want to take the company.
So we currently at 250K a month in revenue, and our goal is to by next year at least double it.
That's good. So you guys are doing 250K a month with systems that are really not that scalable. And you said what was the vision?
At least double in a year.
Double in a year. Okay, so then your vision is actually kind of small. Like you guys are just trying to double in a year, and you guys are, you're looking at just trying to expand your team to double the size. But I don't want to like, shit on what you guys are doing right now. Clearly, it's working. You guys are making a lot of money, but it sounds like what you're doing is pretty stressful. So, if you guys were able to have a consistent pipeline without doubling your guys' team and management, um, you know, what would that, how would that make you guys feel?
Like if I don't have to manage more people because I'm the head of the sales myself, right? So I have managed all these agents. That would be good, but at the same time, I assume you guys are not working for free, right? So it could be good, it couldn't be. I don't know.
For sure. Yeah, completely. So that's actually what I wanted to talk about is like, before we go further, like, you know, being able to get that pipeline filled increases your guys' revenue like 10x pretty much overnight if you have that consistent pipeline. Because then you guys have consistent meetings flowing in. Those turn into meaningful conversations that continue going on. You said you have like 10 or maybe even 20 meetings before you really close one of these 50 to 100K deals. So being able to have a pipeline really reduces your guys' stress that one of these deals lands, allowing you guys to execute at a higher level on these meetings with more abundance, less scarcity. So your conversion rate would go up, as well as the amount of deals you're closing is going up just by virtue of doubling your pipeline. And then not only increasing the conversion rate, right? So just seeing that vision right there, like, I think can you see the value?
Okay. I need to stop here. Never say, can you see the value? Always assume that the value is there. Okay? Because this shows that you're not confident in your solution. Okay? Plus, I like how the conversation went. Flew naturally, 10 out of 10, conversational tone, everything was good. One thing that I would add is I would look when he mentioned the hiring, because you said he said he wants to hire more sales reps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Max is a beast. Of course, Max is a beast, right? Yeah. Okay. So when he spoke about hiring, you want to go straight to it. That's literally the gap. Okay. So I don't want to talk about conversion rate, etc., because their conversion rate is already good. So here's how I would respond. I would say, if they say, okay, sales reps, you want to say, okay, well, hiring and training reps is a massive resource drain. We all know this, right? Don't you guys think? So I hear that. So companies usually spend 6 to 9 months just to get a rep profitable. And many never even make it that far. So I would want to even ask them after that. I would say, what specific aspects of hiring or training have been the most challenging for you? So now that I'm going to get them to like talk about the pain themselves. They know that it's painful to hire sales reps. And it's like it costs a lot of time and money to ramp a rep. It's called ramping up a sales rep, okay? Which means training them. So it's very challenging. So it's kind of like getting them to talk about the pain for you. By the way, I like how you mirror his language. It sounds like, this is pure like textbook psychology. It's textbook, never split the difference from Chris Voss. It's called mirroring, where you say what the prospect said to them, okay? And then once you ask what specific aspects of hiring and training have been difficult for you, you want to listen carefully because they might find like good people. They may say, okay, we find good people, but long ramp times or inconsistent results are always going to be the bottleneck. And then once they talk about this, you guys might be thinking, okay, what do we say after this? Well, and how is this hiring challenge directly impacting the growth target right now? Because he spoke about getting to like doubling the 250K in a year, right? So you want to connect. Here's the main idea. You want to connect their operational problem, which is what? Hiring, to business outcomes. So the psychology here is framing. You're helping them see their hiring problem not as an HR issue, but as a growth bottleneck. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. So when he's sharing his current strategy is to do it through hiring, because that's whatever reason.
Yeah.
Recording in progress.
And he's saying this is his goal, then we want to pick at that process, at that strategy, which they think is going to double them,
Yeah.
and point it out that this is actually the reason that
Yes.
you're not.
That's like the traditional growth lever that any company in any industry has to go through, which is hiring more salespeople because they think it's volume, so it's spray and pray, right? And then once you do that, okay, once you show them that it's not an HR issue, but it's a growth bottleneck, okay, you want to pivot to your solution quickly, okay? Because we found the pain, boom, we go straight into it, we find it, and then we attack it. So what we found that companies spending tons of money and resources hiring and training reps are often or usually trying to solve a lead generation problem with a people solution. So now it's a difference. So our sales systems or our systematic outbound approach, this is literally what I say, our systematic outbound approach can generate qualified intros without adding headcount. Would it be valuable to see how other companies have used our system to bypass the rep hiring cycle completely? So here I'm reframing. Okay, I'm reframing it. So I'm saying it's kind of like the psychological principle here is called reframing. You're shifting their perspective from I need better sales reps to I need a better system to reduce my dependence on sales reps. Does that make sense? You're not dismissing their stated problem. You're acknowledging it while suggesting there's a root cause they haven't addressed. It's like telling someone with a headache, for example. Let me think of an analogy. Yeah, it's like telling someone with a headache that while painkillers help, fixing the dehydration would solve the underlying issue behind it. Okay?
Yeah. I felt like I was trying to tackle what you just tackled very smoothly, and it was pretty bumpy. And then I sounded like I was just insulting him.
Not at all, man. You did great. It was like a 9 out of 10. Yeah, you did great. Okay, so now we discovered the pain. First we tackled setting the agenda, asking the questions. We discovered the pain. So Harpreet literally talked about the pain. It's a hiring challenge right now. It's impacting their growth target. Okay, so now I want you to introduce the solution. Show me how you're going to do it. And transition into the close.
Cool. So, hey Harry, so you're telling me that, your vision is to double the company in the next 12 months, and your guys' current method and approach to doing that is to hire more people, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. And, when in the past when you were doing this hiring, how long does it usually take to hire? Is this like 6 to 9 month process, or is it super short?
Yeah, like we hire a person in a month or so, but the training part is where it takes time. Like interestingly, we hire some agents in Europe, and in the first week, they said that they were gone for vacation. So that was another headache. I wish I could have like a dream team, but it's hard to point out in the sales world, I guess. And yeah, you have to go through how we like to be approached, because most of them have ruined our reputation. So we have to teach them as to how you're presenting us when you talk to these people.
Gotcha. Okay, so then, it might take you guys a month to double your guys' team, right? And then of that double team, how many of those guys actually reach the finish line where they're trained reps who can actually provide meetings for you guys?
So, for example, if we hire eight, at the end of 3 or 4 months, we will find 3 to 4 that will be like to sign a long-term relation with.
Okay.
Because at
Okay,
the end,
cool.
we are looking for people that we can work long-term with and build something sustainable.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that even if you guys double the team, you'll only have 0.5x the, or not 0.5, but a 50% increase in your guys's potential to grow. So, but also you guys would have lost 3 to 4 months on training those guys, so they're only useful to get you guys scale for, you know, the other 3 quarters of the year.
Yeah.
So by using this strategy, you guys are undershooting your doubling target by a long shot. And in order to actually double, you'd have to like quadruple the size of your team and not just double it.
Yeah, that sounds
How would you
about
guys
right.
be doing that?
That's the thing. Because of that, we have only the goals to at least double it on the bare minimum. Because it takes a lot of time finding these connections. Because at the start of the call, I said that this is a hard industry to penetrate, and we prefer warm connections
Right.
that already know them. So it's a smooth transition.
Right, exactly. And I completely agree with you. And that's how our system's different, is we're able to, have this curated outbound quality approach, getting relevant leads for or relevant conversations with our clients without having to scale up and adding on any headcount.
Okay. And like, what will I get in the end of the day?
At the end of the day, we are able to get you to your 2x company goal without getting any of the headcount. So on a more micro level, that means the same deliverable that a single agent is able to deliver, except at a much higher scale.
Okay, be
Okay.
specific with that. You want to say 17
Okay.
times more than a typical SDR.
Okay, so we're able to deliver 17 times more than a normal SDR.
Okay. In what way? Like 17 times more introductions than a normal agent?
Yeah, 17x more high quality, relevant, warm introductions, so that actually your existing team of agents is able to do 17x all of their works,
Exactly.
right?
So where are these warm connections from?
So we use our private network and industry data, and then we combine that with tools that identify the right person in the right company at the right moment. So we do all of the heavy lifting of warming them up with context. And once they signal interest, we connect you directly. So by the time you speak, it's a mutual conversation, not a cold pitch.
Excellent. 10 out of 10.
So for now, you don't have these warm introductions. Like these are cold approach that you do, right?
No, they're not cold approach. These are, highly relevant, industry assets that we're, messaging, and we're just gauging their interest if it's right at this time. So you don't have to waste your valuable resources to figure out if it's the right time or find these assets, because we already have these assets, right? And at the same time, we're able to do this in complete ambiguity. Like we're able to do this without hurting your guys' reputation um, for being spammy and stuff like that, because you're only getting introduced once they're already warmed up
Okay,
on your
excellent
calendar.
work. I like how you framed it. That was amazing. You can definitely add some juice to this. Okay, you can say, so what you said was 10 out of 10. If you want to make it 11 out of 10, you can say, you literally call out other agencies. You can say, see, other agencies can tell you pre-packaged warm intros. And if you guys don't know, it actually exists. There's agencies that do this, okay? So especially those veterans, they have like connections, all right? So you want to say, like most agencies won't tell you this, but they can sell you pre-packaged warm intros, and they get burned through quick and often come with hidden baggage. So the people willing to take those meetings have usually already been shopped around, okay? Instead, what we do is we build you a custom outbound engine that continuously generates fresh conversations with decision makers who match your specific criteria. The first meetings or introductions typically start hitting calendars within 3 to 4 weeks. Would it be valuable to see some actual examples of how we've turned this into actual conversations for other clients? Okay, so you want to demonstrate authority. I like how you framed that. It was already 10 out of 10, but you don't want to be pretend to have something you don't, which builds trust. Okay, it builds trust immediately. Instead, you reframe their understanding of what's valuable, okay, which is ongoing, fresh conversations versus like a one-time batch of introductions. So it really taps into like unconventional wisdom. Okay, addressing the gap between what they asked for and what you offer, rather than trying to blur the lines or change the entire subject. Most salespeople, and this is coming from me since I trained them, most salespeople would dodge or deflect this question, and it damages credibility and it makes them lose the sale. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So, and by the way, you can also add something else. When they speak about the challenge and they finish, okay, there's like a pause, there's awkward pause. You want to say, I appreciate you sharing that. Here's what we do. This is how we frame the offer. Well, we built like a systematic outbound engine that connects fintech companies, for example, directly with their ideal clients without relying, this is a line that I use, without relying on an army of sales reps. I like to use symbolism, an army of sales reps. So our approach combines outbound and AI and automation to identify and engage and also qualify prospects before you even get on a call with them. So the difference is we're not just sending thousands of generic messages hoping for responses, and this is not me batching the lead gen space and typical spray and pray agencies. So what we've done is we're creating like personalized outreach at scale that feels like it was written specifically for each recipient. And the result is you get qualified intros with decision makers who already understand your value without the overhead of hiring, training, and managing a full sales team, which I understand it's a headache. One client was able to redirect 3 planned sales hires into product development while increasing their pipeline by 40%. This is something that I usually say, okay? Would it make sense to show you specifically how this could work for your fintech offering? Now you speak in like a more like using more authority, these fancy words. They like this, especially since you're speaking to a visionary right now. You said the vision. I like how you framed that in the beginning. Okay, so you're speaking about the vision of the company. So you already like assume the sale, which is awesome. Okay, so you want to acknowledge their pain first, builds rapport, presents a direct alternative to their current approach, creates contrast, and then you want to emphasize. Yeah, the third thing is emphasizing a systematic and engine language. Okay, it's the language that I'm speaking. This is the logos that I'm speaking. It suggests reliability and skin in the game. Okay, and then after that you want to add, specificity, and then it's going to be 40% figure, which creates basically credibility, and then you want to end with a question that assumes continued conversation, which is it's called in the sales word, it's called directional close. Okay. You don't start with features or process details. You focus entirely on the outcome getting intros without the hiring pain. Most sales reps, most people, make the mistake of explaining how their situation works before establishing why the prospect should even care. Okay? So hopefully that helps. Now you guys can continue into the close. So now, since we already have we have 20 minutes, so you guys can discuss the proposal and whether you're gonna close or not.
Okay, so then kind of skipping that step we just talked
Yeah, it was
about,
amazing. Yeah, it was 10 out of 10.
how does the proposal start off?
No, since you spoke about your solution, well, would it make sense to show you specifically how this could work for you? Okay, so you're asking how to transition to the close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how to transition to the close. Well, since so far you can say, based on, you can use this line.
Present the offer, and then there's an objection or concern handling, and then
Because I still don't know the price.
Yeah, you can pitch now. You can pitch now, and then if there's any objections, we can handle them. Okay? You can transition using this line. So based on what you've shared about your hiring challenge, again, I'm mirroring the challenge. Like, I'm literally getting them to think about the pain, feel the pain every damn freaking second. Based on it's Machiavellian. Yeah, I don't care. Based on everything you've shared, you say. Based on everything you've shared about your hiring challenges and growth targets, I think we have a clear path forward. Let me summarize what I'm hearing. You're spending a significant resource, hiring and training sales reps, but it's creating bottlenecks in your growth. Okay, that's the reality. What you need isn't more salespeople. It's a consistent system delivering qualified intros and meetings with fintech decision makers. We could build that sales system engine for you in about 2 weeks, with the first meetings typically landing on calendars by week 3 or 4. Our clients usually see 10 to 15 qualified intros per month once we've optimized the campaign. These are 2 ways we typically work with companies like yours. And then check this out. You want to present 2 packages. Okay, since it's a fintech startup and they're making 250K, well, thinking about it, I'm just gonna pull a number out of my mind. Our core package starts at 5,384. We build, manage, and optimize your entire sales system, from identifying targets to landing meetings on your calendar. All you do is show up and close. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna offer you, again, we have another enterprise package, which is around 9,564. It includes everything in the core plus custom integrations with your tech stack and dedicated campaign strategists who've worked specifically in financial services. We can also include a CRM integrations, so every meeting that gets added to your calendar also gets added to your CRM, so your sales reps can just go ahead and look at the time, the calendar, they can just click a button and go straight to the call. Which of these approaches makes sense for your situation right now? Am I cooking?
Yeah.
Bro, I just want to eat some popcorn right now. I can't wait for
just listen to you.
call recording.
So yeah, you
I
want to
wanna
just you want to sound like a master. So you want to sound like psychology here has to be mastery. Okay, sales systems mastery, right? I've created so you want to create a choice between 2 yeses. 2 yeses rather than really a yes or no. Does that make sense? So rather than a yes or no decision, you want to create 2 yeses. And this is called, again, another mental model is called alternative choice close. Exactly. If you want to buy or buy, it's called alternative choice close. By offering 2 options, I've implicitly removed the do nothing as the default choice.
Yeah.
So I've also used
this sounds like, in middle school or something, there's a word problem, a word math problem, and then there's a whole bunch of extra information.
Yeah, it's elementary wisdom if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So also another thing, if you notice, I've used firm numbers and time frames to create certainty, because vague promises create hesitation, but specific expectations create confidence. So again, we can extrapolate from here. Unconventional wisdom is to make someone or the prospect feel like a natural, like the close has to feel like a natural conclusion rather than a high pressure moment. So I've summarized their problem, connected it directly to my solution, and presented clear next steps. The entire close feels like a helpful guidance. It's kind of like a magician when it's thin. Like the entire close is like a helpful guidance rather than just selling. Okay?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So that's how you transition into it. So hopefully that was not too much. Probably it was, but you can use.
It felt like
Yeah, what's your
magic.
objection, Harpreet?
Uh, to this, I would say the first option. To me, the first option makes sense.
Yeah.
But how can you guarantee 10 meetings in a month?
Okay. Um, how can I guarantee 10 meetings in a month?
Yeah, because that's the offer, like the first offer you pitched,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So how we can guarantee you 10 meetings a month is the first day we hop on a call and we confirm your ICP and your targeting criteria. So we're looking at the role, we're looking at the industry, the geography, deal size, use case, all of this information, which is going to help us target exactly who you're looking to get deals and meetings for, right? And then from there, we'll use our industry data and we'll use our tools to be able to scour the internet, find and make these lists. And then we use our technology and a little bit of AI to help us curate the messaging that break through the noise of the rest of the people who are trying to spam and market, and they keep on
Okay, Max. Here's what
shutting.
you want to do.
Yeah.
You want to address the elephant in the room. Okay, because they said guarantee. No, I don't offer guarantees in any of my stuff. As you guys know, I don't offer guarantees because like sometimes like the client's offer is shit. I don't guarantee that, right? I can show you how many people are actually achieved success, but I can't guarantee you that. For example, let me give you an example. Let's say I'm a gym trainer. I can't guarantee you're gonna eat the food. I can't guarantee you're gonna go to the gym, right? So what I say is we don't offer guarantees, and I'll tell you exactly why. Okay? With an agency, yeah, I don't do any guarantees with any of my stuff, obviously, because I can't. Like everyone who says guarantee, they're lying through their teeth. Okay? The reason why they put money in a CD is because they guarantee you an outcome, and they know they're making a shit ton of money on the back end. Okay? So you want to say we don't offer guarantees. I'll tell you exactly why. Any agency promising guaranteed meeting number is playing a dangerous game. They'll eventually sacrifice quality to hit quota. So it's like in practice, it's sending you intros with people who have no business talking to you. What we do instead is we build a system designed for predictable results. For example, our average clients see X amount of qualified intros monthly after optimizations. But I won't promise you like a specific number before understanding your exact target profile and messaging. Okay? But here's what I can guarantee. I can guarantee complete transparency. You'll see every metric, response rate, meeting conversion rates in real time. You'll know exactly how the system is performing and where we're making adjustments. Because the companies that succeed with us aren't looking for guarantees. They're looking for partners who understand that quality conversations beats quantity every time. So one solid meeting with the right decision maker is worth more than 10 meetings with people who can't buy and just waste your time. Does that approach align with how you prefer to work with partners? So that's how you basically bypass the guarantee, okay? Because you want to establish yourself as a trusted expert who refuses to compromise standards. Do you think Alex Hormozy offers guarantees? No. When he offers a coaching session? No, he doesn't, right? Because it's Alex Hormozy. So there's no guarantees here, okay? There's a rule. The more you can control, the more guarantees you can give. The less you can control, the less guarantees you can give. So you want to reject the premise of guarantees. Okay, you're actually increasing your perceived value when you remove the guarantees, because now you don't trigger something called loss aversion. When I speak about guarantees, well, your brain envisions like an image, because humans think in images, We all know this. You envision an image of the system not working. So I don't even want to have that. Okay? Because when I say guarantee, well, why are you even saying the word guarantee? Okay, am I going to fail? This is why you offer guarantee. It's funny how the human brain works, right? It's called loss aversion. Okay? So you want to increase your perceived value, but not even like talking about guarantees and rejecting it completely. Okay? So again, since we do this every single time, what is the conventional wisdom here? Well, you want to address why guarantees are problematic rather than dancing around it. Okay? Like I go straight to the problem. Okay? I talk about it. I don't want to like dance around the they ask me again, well, what about guarantees? I want to like go straight to it. I don't want to like create this false promise. I want to address the elephant in the room. If that makes sense. So I don't want to I don't want to dance around it. I don't want to make empty promises. Okay. Because I know a lot of agencies that I speak to, like agency owners that I speak to in LinkedIn, etc. Like they would either reluctantly offer like a watered down guarantee or deflect the entire question. Okay. So you want to explain your philosophy. This is our philosophy. This is our company's philosophy. Okay. And you're establishing that you operate at a higher level than a typical agency. So you're subtly qualifying them unconsciously. Clients who insist on guarantees are usually the most problematic and the least profitable in my experience. You just don't want to deal with them anyway. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's how you bypass the guarantee. Any more objections?
So if I say I'll think about it, and when he discovers that, I'll say that I'm not the only decision maker. I have another co-founder that I have to talk to.
So if you say I think about it,
yeah,
but it's easy. Well, he can easily you guys can see. Well, I appreciate that making decisions without proper reflection rarely ends well. While you're thinking, let me ask, what aspects or what specific aspects do you need to consider before moving forward? Is it budget concern, timing, or something about our approach that doesn't fully align with what you're looking for?
Okay.
So you don't want to overcome their objection. That's wrong. You want to treat their hesitation as legitimate while seeking to understand the real barrier. It's called respectful curiosity. I'm just curious. I'm not desperate to close now, but I'm invested enough to understand their thought process. Yeah. And then based on their answer, if it's a budget, okay, well, that makes sense. Many clients initially view this as a cost rather than an investment. Would it be helpful to walk you through the ROI calculation based on your average deal size and close rate? Systematically, we don't have to just bullshit ourselves. If it's timing, I completely understand. Many companies we work with initially planned to solve the next quarter. What's interesting, is that the sooner we start building the system, it's very interesting. The sooner it begins generating meetings. Well, what timing would work better for your situation? If it's uncertainty, okay, about results, typical, classic, you can say, well, that's the exact reason we don't lock clients into long contracts. We typically see initial results within 3 to 4 weeks. Would a shorter trial period give you the confidence to evaluate whether this is working for you? Okay? So you don't want to you want to make it feel like you're not pushing for immediate commitment, but you are. Okay? It's like push and pull, hot and cold. Instead I'm treating I'll think about it as, I'll think about it as the beginning of a more honest conversation, rather than an objection to overcome. So it's going to build tremendous trust with them because you're not treating them like a transaction that needs to close today. And guys, remember, in high ticket sales, patience usually closes more deals than pressure from experience. So I think we tackled budget, timing, and also uncertainty about results. So what else?
I was about to say that this would change our whole approach because currently we are talking with agents, but I guess you tackled that with the 1 month trial period.
Okay.
What if they say, I don't believe you? Kind of just stonewall like that.
What if they say I don't believe you? How is that?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Like if you give one of these awesome riffs, that we're like,
Yeah,
dude, this is the
definitely.
best
I can tell you
ever,
what to say.
and then
Yeah.
they just
I've had this before. I don't believe you. Well, you can say again, we use the same formula again. Acknowledge, and then we systematically just remove all this. We can say, well, I respect the skepticism. In your position, I'd feel the same way. Again, I'm respecting it. Well, the outbound or the AI and automation space is filled with agencies with wild claims they can't back up. So instead of trying to convince you with words, let me show you something concrete. Can I share my screen for 2 minutes to walk you through an actual campaign data from a client's in X, Y, and Z industry? You'll see real numbers, including the rough patches and how we corrected them. No cherry-picked stats, just the unfiltered dashboard. And I would share my screen,
yeah.
okay? Or you can say, let me send you something after this call. I'll put together like a case study showing the full journey of a client in a similar industry, not to just show the end results, but the like week by week progression, like including when things weren't working and what we adjusted. You'll see actual message sequences, which is the reason why I always say document your process, guys. Document your process, guys. Document your process, guys. By the way, document your process, guys. So you would just want to like use another like big psychology hack, which is instead of defending yourself against their disbelief, and this just snowballs to anything in life, you never want to defend yourself. Let's say someone says bad about you, or like they say, oh, you are like a bad person. Don't defend yourself. You don't care about it. You're acknowledging it as irrational and just offering evidence rather than arguments. Okay, just not worth your energy. And then you can say, well, so you want to, like, the first thing you want to share is screen, and the second thing, I believe, and then send them the case study. That's pretty much it.
Acknowledge and then kind of dismantle.
Exactly. You just want to dismantle. Yeah.
Their frame is,
Embrace
whatever,
skepticism rather than trying to overcome it. That's like
pushing
my
yourself
mantra.
aside
Yeah.
of
Embrace
other
skepticism rather than trying to overcome it. Okay? Never get defensive, because most people, they get defensive when someone doesn't believe them, which only confirms the other person's doubts. By treating their disbelief as completely reasonable and just offering them like a transparent evidence, you'd be essentially just demonstrating confidence in your actual results.
Okay, so then after you have that part, then I notice you're asking a question to like try to rebuild yourself, or like try to dive a little bit deeper maybe into their frame of what they think.
I'm not trying to ask them or like justify myself. I said I respect the skepticism. In your position, I'd feel the same way. Like the space is filled with agencies making wild claims they can't back up. And then instead of trying to convince you with words, I'll just show you something concrete, share my screen, walk you through an actual campaign. This is the actual campaign. You can even use something. Let me show you the actual campaign that got us on a call today. Boom. This is exactly the research, how I found you, how we got on a call. So everything was everything was laid down. It was a system. It's like this crazy magician that did this, right?
Nice.
Okay.
Right?
But then at the very end, you're kind of just saying something along the lines of, does this address what you're
Yeah. Well, I mean,
concerned with?
yeah, like sort of, yeah. Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
So I believe that's pretty much it. We have 5 minutes left. Let's do like a couple, like a quick questions here.
That was genuinely like
Oh yeah, that's a good question, Max. So yeah, I'll answer the last two questions, one from Max and one from Nick. Okay. So the two option approach, yes, of course, man. Of course, yeah. It's universal and also industry agnostic. Okay, it's industry agnostic. So it works also like extremely well across all the high LTV industries, including fintech, recruitment, because, the psychology, like I said, is universal. For example, let me give you a couple examples. For recruitment, it's actually even more effective. Let's say you're targeting recruitment, because recruiters inherently know the value of qualified intros. Their entire business model depends on it. For example, since I'm speaking about recruitment, the recruitment industry has chronic feast or famine cycles. So either like making consistent lead flow or incredibly low results, And they really like heavily rely on LinkedIn outreach. I mean, I was an Upwork freelancer and I used to sell cold email systems to recruiters. right? Like recruiters would come to Upwork and they would say, hey, I need this, you know? But usually like the pay is like very low, like $200, which was annoying. So I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this. You know? So for example, like recruitment, they have very clear economics. They know exactly what a placement is worth, like straight to it, you know? So making ROI calculations is going to be very straightforward, you know? So like, I mean, like their LTV might be lower per client than fintech, but their buying cycle is typically faster. And they're more willing to take action when they are presented with like a clear path to more conversations. But the fundamental here, like the fundamental truth here is like any business that lives or dies by conversations, which is essentially any B2B business and planet Earth and the entire cosmos, they will respond to two option close because both options solve their core problem. The alternative approach works, the second one, the most expensive one, because it shifts the question from should I buy to how should I buy? You know, and that psychological shift is just industry agnostic. So I hope this helps, man. Does that make sense? Next question, which is going to be the last one. 5K per month, and then first month we'll get 1 to 2 meetings. Yes. Sad, if you don't offer guarantees, so are they buying based non-trust? Yeah, exactly. They're buying based on trust. Yeah, no guarantees. That's the core value of high value sales. Look, before we end this up, guarantees are for commodity products where there's little differentiation. When McDonald's guarantees your order in 3 minutes, they're selling a predictable, low-value transaction. But when a surgeon operates on you, they don't guarantee outcomes. You choose them based on expertise, track record, and trust, you know? So there's also something called transparency. We show them the full dashboard of every metric, not just the highlights, okay? So they see what's working and what isn't in real time, okay? Another thing is case studies. You walk them through the actual journey of similar clients, including the bumps and adjustments, not just the end result, okay? So another thing you can also like demonstrate, which is skin in the game, which is structured deals where our incentives align with theirs, okay? We don't get paid for activity, we get paid for results. And there's also something called process mastery. Well, we demonstrate deep expertise in our methodology that makes success predictable, even if not guaranteed, okay? And by the way, the irony is that companies obsessed with guarantees usually get worse results. They choose partners who are willing to make promises they can't keep, rather than partners that understand the complexity of the work. So the best clients are the ones that are worth having. They don't buy guarantees. They buy on trust, expertise, and alignment. They understand that meaningful results can be guaranteed, but they can be achieved through partnerships with the right team. Does that make sense?